Consolidation application is thing like where we are doing the consolidation across the global. Like let us say example here in let us take
Srinivas,
here
your voice, sometimes your voice getting disturbed.
now.
Yeah.
Now it's fine.
I, sometimes only I cannot hear some middle words in between.
Okay, I will go with slow. Then
Is it possible to shall I switch to laptop voice or what? No need, right?
no need, no need. If you want to increase your voice
Okay.
over there, that will be fine.
No, voice actually my voice was in the topmost level, but I decreased because of some humming is coming from there. That is the problem.
Okay, okay.
Srinivas, I guess it's getting deep something,
During this now it's
getting stuck or something. Is this because of net down or?
if net is no, everything is fine, no issues on that. Okay, let me continue. Mean if now it's fine, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay, fine. See here, the consolidation is thing is where we can do the consolidation for the entire entities. I mean, let us take example of any organization. X is the organization. It is having the entities across the global like US, UK, Australia, or anywhere else. I mean, across the global, the company will have the entities. Okay, organizations will be located. So at the end of the day, when they are going to give the financial statements across the global, what they will do is they have to run the consolidation at the ultimate parent level and produce the financial statements of profit and loss account, balance sheet, and cash flow statements. For which what we are doing in HFM is we will be maintaining the data in terms of parent-child relation. So in HFM, we don't maintain the RDBMS system. Here we are maintaining MDBMS system, means multiple dimensional database management system. Whereas in EBS, we are maintaining RDBMS.
Srinivas, can you elaborate this EBS and RDBMS?
Yes, I am going to give you. So here RDBMS is nothing but your relational database management system and multi-dimensional database management system. Like where your EBS system, when you run any transaction, and here we can call them as it's a OLTP system,
Okay.
online transaction processing. Here it's a OLAP system, mean online analytical processing. So OLTP is the system and where we can run the all transactions in a relational database model only. I mean, let us say here if you are saying any sales account for 2014, you can say simply sales 2014 or sales February, January or something like that. You can say in a relational mode only. Some values we can give it as in a relational mode only. I mean it's a column and row intersection. We are giving some intersection values. Mean like in a relational database management system means when you store the data in the database itself, you have multiple tables in the database. So one table should contain the data about your sales with different columns, and another table will contain the data with different columns and intersections. So when you require the data of sales 2014 since 2014 January, what we need to do is we need to write some queries, like inner joins or something like that. We need to write it and we can get the data in a multiple dimensional way. It's not directly stored in the database like multi-dimensional way. So whenever you require to get the data for multiple dimensional way for analytical purpose, you need to write some queries and fetch the data from your database. So this is RDBMS is a relational database where we can maintain your data in the relative of Oracle schema or SQL Server databases wherever it is. Okay. Whereas MDBMS systems are simply you can analyze the data. Like see here in OLTP systems are nothing but I can give one more point here. Here we can do daily transactions. Right. In EBS we are doing daily transactions like purchases, payables, receivables, cash management, and everything will be done on daily basis. Data also will be loading into the respective schema. Oracle is maintaining, EBS is maintaining Oracle schemas. So the data will be getting loaded into Oracle schemas on daily basis. So when the data is getting increased in Oracle schemas, we are going to be maintaining data warehouse. Then because of in Oracle schemas, if the data is getting increased day by day, when you run any queries to get the required data from Oracle schemas, the performance will be degraded. So the query performance will be slow and your retrieval time will be increased to get the data. So for that purpose, what business is doing is every month end or every quarter, based on the volume of the data will be increased in your schemas. Based on that, what they will do is just they will push the data into respective data marts in data warehouse. So in data warehouse, you will maintain the data like monthly data or fortnight data or weekly data based on the dimensions that you have created in your application, data warehousing application. So what I can say here in data warehousing concept, the data warehousing concepts we are calling them as OLAP systems. Analytical processing. Here the transactions are being done in your OLTP system. The data is moved into your OLAP system. Here you can analyze the data. Like if you would like to see the data for month by month, quarter by quarter, or analysis, whatever the analysis that you would require in OLAP systems, that you can use by using the data warehousing concepts. So here the thing is the data that you are loading monthly into OLAP systems, and here the data will be stored into again different data marts like sales data mart, purchases data mart, or any marketing data mart. Like that, we have created some individual data marts, and you can load the data into respective data marts. Here the user or business users can have the situation to analyze the data. If you would like to see the detailed data, you have the option of drill through. Drill through option, you can see the detailed information to your EBS level. Just I am giving the information about the data warehouse, how the application HFM or SBS or planning applications, how the marketing is getting into mold into the HFM application. These are the concepts of also dimensional ways. So here in OLAP system, we have the concept of dimensions. Dimensions that we need to create the dimensions in OLAP systems. Then you can load the data into different dimensions. These dimensions that we can create in OLAP systems based on the frequency how you are using in the application, like account dimensions, year dimension, period dimension. This, like just I am giving the example. These are the frequencies that we are keep using the members, and we have a chance to load the data into respective members. We can call them as dimensions. Under that dimensions, we can create the number of members. Like in account dimensions, I can create my sales account, purchases account, like that. How many accounts that you have in your EBS system, based on the requirement that you need to load the data into respective OLAP systems, you need to maintain all those accounts in your data warehousing applications also. So just I am giving information how the data is being maintained between your source EBS to data warehousing concepts. Okay, just ignore about this data warehousing concept. Just giving the information how the data is also being maintained in your data warehousing concept. Here in data warehousing, you can maintain the data in terms of star schema or snowflake schema. Okay, star schema or snowflake schema. These are the concepts that we need to maintain to maintain the data in your OLAP system. OLAP systems are nothing but based on your NDBMS systems, like multi-dimensional database management systems. How the data is being maintained. Say for example, sales 2014 February, year to date, currency USD, and Chicago. So likewise, if you want to maintain the data, see here in HKTAN, I can say the data for all these intersections, like about the 6-dimension numbers. I am giving the information into $500. This is the data, and this is your metadata. Metadata is nothing but your total organization structural members. I will give better explanation once we move into the HF application. Just here, the thing is, whatever the members that we have, total we need to maintain in your OLAP system to retrieve the data for the different points of intersections, to retrieve the data in a single line. Say for example, here sales 2014 February year to date USD Chicago. This is all about your data value information in a single point of intersection that you are saying, right? So that is the reason here OLAP systems are more powerful to analyze the data in a different point of intersections. So based on these OLAP systems, the applications which came like HFM, SDS, planning, these are the Hyperion applications that we are being used to analyze the data for the different point of intersections and different kind of analysis. Okay. So, yep.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you mean to say HFM is developed on OLAP system, right?
Yes, yes.
So we are nowhere concerned with OLTP and RDBMS because
Yes,
it's
but yes, we are never consider it, but when you are in the real-time organization, you need to know about the EBS systems, because of these are the source systems that you are getting data to your HFM application. I will give the explanation how it is going to use, how we need to concentrate on EBS systems also, but I will give the explanation. Okay. We need to know about, we don't require, but we need to have some idea about our EBS system. Here itself, just I said EBS, Oracle Financial System. You may have SAP FICO, you may have JD Edwards, you may have PeopleSoft Financials. These are all your source systems which we are getting data, from which we are getting data to load into HFM applications. I will give that explanation later on.
one more thing, Srinivas. Actually, in our company, my GL team is working on this, updating the GL accounts every month. So whenever the closure is get, and they will upload some balances to the this accounts.
Okay.
So upload it totally as a bulk. Total bulk amount it can be uploaded. I mean, for 30-40 companies or 30-40 accounts, it can be uploaded at once.
Yeah, just give me a second, so that going forward, how to load the data and how to load the metadata, those concepts will be covered. At that moment, you can raise this question once I completed those topics. Okay. This is the Dinesh, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Warren. Okay, fine. So here, where we are? MDBMS system. So here, the HFM, the data will be. So I missed it. Okay, fine. The data warehousing concept that we covered here itself, but nowhere, no more about these data warehousing concepts. But if you know these things, it is a better idea to have the concept of data warehousing concept, because of once we move into the HF application, there itself you will have the concept of dimensions. How many dimensions that we have in HF applications? What are the use of those dimensions? Okay, here going to be part of HFM. Here, why we are using HFM and what are the dimensions that we have, we can see here. It's a Hyperion Financial Management consolidation application, and it's a reporting product. We are doing the consolidation across the global, not for the single location. Okay, so here you are running the consolidation. Consolidation is nothing but your aggregated values across the global for set of financial statements, not for anything. It's a financial statements consolidation data. Your PL account will be in US, your PL data will be in UK, your PL data will be in Australia. At the end of the day, you can provide the data at global level, right? That means you need to consolidate it of PLs of US, UK and Australia, and you need to provide the global level PL, profit and loss account, likewise balance sheet and cash flow. Here you are using USD currency, here you are using GBP currency, here you are using Australian dollars, but my global currency would be USD. So what I am saying here is your reporting currency is USD and non-reporting currencies are USD, GBP and Australia. When I run the consolidation at global reporting structure, you may need to have some currency rates from reporting to non-reporting, so that whenever you run the consolidation in the application, you need to provide some exchange rate between your reporting currencies to non-reporting currencies, so that you can have the data of reporting structure. Otherwise, simply you will have the data of USD to your global structure also, because of if you are not providing exchange rate, this data will not be roll up your into parent level. In EBS also, how you are going to provide these exchange rates? In EBS, in Oracle Financials or any source systems, you may maintain daily rates, average daily rates and EOP rates only. So here you need to provide the exchange rates for different set of accounts for different rates. Let's say for example here will be using average rate and BS will be using EOP rate. Why? Because profit and loss accounts are always average rate, balance sheets are always end of period rate.
End of period.
Yes. How you are getting the average rate? In ABS, in Oracle Financials, we will maintain the daily rates. So here I need to give one more point. HFM will be supporting to load the data by monthly itself only, not daily basis. So whenever your subledger data is posted into general ledger, that data we need to extract. So here general ledger. So you are going to done some subledger posting to general ledgers by month end. Once you done the general ledger postings and everything has been done, you need to extract. You need to run the report in Oracle Financials to generate the report of the trial balance data for single location. Like in our example, I am going to run a report on US trial balance extract in GL system that will provide the trial balance data file. Okay, so you need to extract the trial balance data of GL from your Oracle Financials, and that you need to load into HFM application. I will give that explanation, but the thing here is you are extracting the data of US trial balance data. You may need to have the data of daily rates for the month of February, and you need to do like sum of these exchange rates by number of days in that month, so that you can get the average rate. The average rate that you need to provide in your HFM systems, because of this HFM will be maintained on on monthly basis, not on daily basis. So you need to provide the average rate to your profit and loss account, balance sheet account for EOP rate, so that your data will be translated to required format. So that's what I am saying here. Currency translations and intercompany eliminations and ownership calculations are accommodated. So currency translations that I had explained, and intercompany eliminations. Say for example, in Oracle Financials we have the ICP data, intercompany partner data. Okay, in HFM, if any transaction between your US to UK or UK to US level, Australia level, if there is any transactions are being happened within the organization, those transactions would be eliminated at the time of consolidation. So HFM itself take care about the eliminations of the members in the applications. And ownership calculations. Ownership calculations in the sense, we need to provide the percentage of ownership and percentage of consolidation if your organizations are being maintained subsidiary companies or joint venture companies or equity method companies. Whatever the structures that you are maintaining in our application, based on the parent-child relationship, let's say for example, here US is the subsidiary company, it is having the stake of 52%. So here the 52% ownership will be consolidated to parent level. So likewise, we need to provide the ownership data and consolidation data, percentage of consolidation data at your entity level, so that based on that the data will be rolled up to your global structure level. So ownership data you need to maintain to your children level, it's nothing but children, and the data percentages will be loaded into, consolidated into your parent level. So here IFRS, US GAAP, statutory, by default, HFM application will have the IFRS standards, and so when you run the default consolidation in HFM application, it would be take care about your IFRS, and you can maintain your US GAAP and any local country gaps also that you can maintain by using this application. Say for example, every country should have to follow their local GAAP, India GAAP, Australia GAAP, Singapore GAAP, local GAAP. Instead of doing that one, globally we need to maintain the IFRS standards from this year onwards, I guess. So every organization should be provided the reports in terms of IFRS standards to their stock exchanges, say from this year onwards, I guess. So basically this application would be useful to run the default consolidation to use the IFRS standards inbuilt functional by using the inbuilt functionality. So data comes in, accounting consolidation rules apply, and financial data and reports are available, all with the controlled secured environment in a supporting process. The data comes in. From where the data comes in? From your source systems like SAP, Oracle, Financials, JD Edwards, whatever it is. You are getting your general ledger data from your source systems, and you are loading the data into HFM application by using another application that is named called FDQM, Financial Data Quality Management. Financial Data Quality Management, which is a ETL tool, and that ETL tool just loading the data into your HFM application. Say for example, here the data that you are getting, extract the data for trial balance US. I have the entity of US in HFM entity hierarchy. So by using this FDQ application, just I will do some mappings between your cost centers. See, say for example, in EVS systems or SAP FICO or Oracle Financials, your general ledger system, you may have the concept of cost centers or departments or business units concepts, and you are maintaining your total accounts in terms of chart of accounts. So these chart of accounts that you need to maintain in your source systems. Okay, and here in HFM you have the entity structure and you have the account structure, right? So that structure is different from your cost centers to your entity structure, and your chart of accounts to your account structure would be different. What you have to do is you need to maintain some mapping in your ETL system. You need to maintain some mapping over here. So by using the mappings, you need to map the cost center to entity and your chart of accounts to your account, so that whenever you are loading the data based on the mappings, the data will be converted into required format of HFM and data will be loaded into HFM application. I will give the explanation. Here the thing is how the data is being loaded into HFM application. If you know the how many dimensions that you have in HFM application, then you will have better idea about it. But as of now, what I am trying to say here is you can get the trial balance data extract and do some mappings before loading the data into HFM application based on the structure that you are being maintained in a HFM application, like entity and account dimensions. So how you are maintaining entity dimension and account dimension. Based on that, you need to give some mappings in your FDQ application so that there are mappings and everything has been defined in your FDQ application, everything is perfect. Thereafter, you can load the trial balance data into FDQ application to transfer the data into HFM application. Okay, so monthly, quarterly, and year balance is profit and loss account, cash flow, and reports typically outputs of the financial implementation.
Hello, Srinivas.
Yes, yes.
Shall I ask some query?
Yeah, sure.
Can you please go to that page again, the Excel sheet? Yeah, here what you mentioned that the cost center or department or business unit as the structure, meaning as the setup account.
Yes.
Yeah. You given the example of the US, and the Australia, right? So as to the legal entity concern, sometimes my structure will be make a change. Let's say for US, I don't require cost center, but for Australia, I require cost center segment. I'm talking segment.
Okay.
So some of the segment is not related to that concerned legal entity.
Okay.
Yeah. So how can I transfer this data to my HFM then?
Yeah, I mean, whenever the changes are getting changed, you need to maintain the mappings in the FDQ application. See, that's what we have the monthly maintenance, right? In monthly maintenance, whatever the changes that are occur in your EBS systems, whatever the changes that you are having in your core systems, that need to be maintained in FDQM as well before loading the data.
Okay, as per legal entity.
Yes, as per legal entity. See, that's what I mean. This is not a standard way. These mappings are every month getting changed.
Oh.
Because of whenever the changes happen in your source system, that need to be maintained in your FDQM system also as well. Right. Say for example, as you said, any legal entity that are added in your source system. Okay. Say for example, in March, right, your legal entity has been added in your UK structure, and you need to maintain that UK legal entity structure in your target system also, and you need to maintain the mapping between these two as well in the month of March. So in the month of March monthly maintenance, you need to use that mapping and you need to add that mapping in FDQM application. Then only you can run the query on your LE level data query, data extract, trial balance data, and you can import the data into FDQ application to transfer the HFM application. So it's a monthly maintenance. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So that's what in a monthly, quarter, and year-end balances, profit and loss account, cash flow, and supplemental report. These are the financial implementation reports that we need to generate at the end of the day. So why we are using, what is the features, what is the uses of this financial management? Say for example, when you run this consolidation statements or anything else, reporting cycles or anything else, by weekly or by weekly or by days in previous days. So, I mean, like when you run the consolidation, it would be taking a long time to run the consolidation. Say, for example, in the monthly maintenance in previous days, I mean, like if you are not using the HFM application, any consolidation application, it would take like 1 week or 10 days to maintain all this information, right? To get the Excel reports from various sources, and in your consolidation team will be having in one location. They do some manipulations and run the consolidations, and everything will be taking long time. But here the thing is, in a single sign-on application, you will have the applications across the global, and you can generate the reports and you can load the data from where, from which locations the user are located and seated over there, right? So it's a single sign-on application. It can be accessed across the global, and users can load the data from their locations itself only, without any interventions or without any transfers of the data from one location to another location. And your consolidation time also has been reduced by using this application, because of it's a once the data has been loaded from your various locations, UK, US, Australia, or any business areas, the data has been loaded in HFM application. The HFM administrator can trigger the consolidation, and the data will be consolidated in a single way. So the transparency is very easy to get the data and load the data into application. So here the main advantage of the application is to load the data from various locations, and it takes less time to run the consolidation, and your total month-end process will be less when compared to do the manual. It's a web-based application. As I said, it's a web-based application. Yep.
Sorry. Srinivas, in the first slide you had just mentioned that it needs to, it will provide some typical reports. Last point, can you just tell me that once?
Which one?
On the first slide,
Mm-hmm.
in the last point, monthly, quarterly, year, this thing.
Yes. Here the thing is, we are maintaining the data, and HFM supports the data to load monthly basis, right? So
Okay.
by month, once you get the data from your EBS systems and loaded the data into HFM application, and you require to run the consolidations, translations, and everything at the month-end process of HFM, right? Once you run your consolidations and everything in your HFM application, then you can generate the reports of profit and loss account, cash flow, and any balance sheet reports. By monthly we can generate it, and by quarter we can generate it, and by half year you can generate it, and by yearly you can generate the reports. Because of the structure, this profit and loss account, cash flow, and balance sheet structures are, once you define, it will be static in the reporting structure. Just you can change the period and you can generate the reports for which once you loaded the data and all activities of HFM that you performed in HFM application, then only you can generate the reports. At the end of the financial activities, when HFM activities completed, once your HFM activities completed, then only you can generate the reports.
Srinivas, on all this information, I mean entity and all the blueprint data, will the client will provide us, or how will we get that data?
Yeah, client will provide the data.
Okay.
Data means, in the sense, here we have two concepts. I will give the explanation of that. Like metadata, data is two concepts. Metadata means it's a physical architecture of the organization. Like, say for example, in your organization, in account dimension, I need to maintain the sales, expenses, revenues. So many accounts are there, right? So this all information we can call them as metadata. I mean the numbers. What are the numbers? In entity structure, I can say UK, Australia. In UK, you may have some other different entities. In US, you may have separate entities like Chicago, California, like that entities, right? So in India, you will have Hyderabad, like Bangalore, Delhi, like that. We will have the different entities where the organizations are being located and operating their activities. So this information like entity structure and numbers, this is about metadata. This information how to give by the client, otherwise we don't know, right? So based on that, we are going to define the metadata structure and building the hierarchies and everything in HFM application. Once you are ready with your metadata and everything, then only you will get the data as per the requirement of the HFM application from your source system. Because of based on your source and based on your operating units and based on your financial activities that you are going to build your HFM application. So that requirements, once you define from your source and you are define your HFM structure, and everything should be same, so that once you are extracting the data from your source system, then only you can load the data into HFM application as per your requirement to sync between these two applications. Okay.
Okay.
Say it's a single sign-on applications, and we can do all activities by using these applications by providing the provisions to different users, by providing the access to different users. He can access the applications and he can do whatever the roles and main responsibilities that we have provided to the end user. Based on that, he can do the activities by using this HFM application. So the thing is, here we have total 12 dimensions. Just I'm coming to the point. In here, up to here, that I had given the overall information structure and the process of the business and the flow of the business from EBS to HFM application. How your data is being maintained from your source system to target system is HFM application. In between, we have the application of ETL, FDPM, how you are going to map the data from your source to target data. Okay, the flow. That's what you may have some idea about your EBS system. I mean, like not only EBS, your source system. So what is meant by chart of accounts, what is meant by cost center, what is meant by segments, and everything you need to understand over there. If you have better idea, then you can do the analysis and when you can do the mapping at the time of FDQM and everything. But one more thing, this mapping information and everything will be provided by the business itself only. As a developer, you can't say this is the mapping, this data has to go of the legal entity of the HFM, because of we are not directly say about the mappings and everything. Business has to provide the data, which entity, which cost center data has to be loaded into HFM entity, legal entity, which department has to be loaded into HFM entity. That information has to be provided by the business itself only. Once we get the data from business, then only we can map all these things into FDQ application so that we can load the data into HFM application. We are not owners of to do all these activities. We are the developer. To do the mappings is the activity of is our duty.
Okay.
Okay. So coming to the point of HFM, here we have 12 dimensions in HFM up to level 113 version. If I am giving about in the meantime about the versions of HFM. Here 11.1.1.3 version. So this is the version which as of now most of the organizations are using, still the version which we are maintaining. In 11.113.500 we have total dimensions of 12 dimensions, in which 8 are standard and 4 custom dimensions. Whereas the latest version of the HFM application is 11.1.2.3.500. Okay, the latest version. So all organizations are migrating in upgrading from 11.113 to 1.2.3 because of Oracle is not providing any support to 11.113. So there is no longer support for this 1.1.3 version. So all clients, all organizations or all clients are simply migrating to 11.123.500 version because of for which application Oracle is going to give support. And here,
Srinivas, is there any change in dimensions or anything? I mean, as it's providing 12, 8, and 4.
Yeah, just I'm coming to that point only. So here, the thing is in 11.123.500 version, we have not only 12 dimensions, we have 8 standard dimensions, and here 100 custom dimensions that you can use in 11.123.500 version. Okay, here 8 standard dimensions. In previous we have only 4 custom dimensions. By using the 4 custom dimensions only, we can use and we can customize our requirements within the 4 dimensions. But here the feasibility that we have to maintain 100 dimensions, but it is difficult to maintain 100 dimensions. But most of the cases we are using up to 10. At max we can use 10. Because of if you are saying using 10 only, you need to say one data value by saying of 18 dimension numbers. That means 18 dimension numbers that you need to say for one single point of data. So it would be difficult. Like if you are using more custom dimensions, end users get difficult to say one point of data. It is not easy to understand the data, right? So less numbers we can easily understand where we can have the data and everything. So here the types of standard dimensions: scenario, account, entity, period, year, view. These are all standard dimensions. I will give that explanation here, then it will be great. Year, period. here, if you can observe, these are the standard data dimensions which are nothing changed across the versions. So these are the 8 standard dimensions. We have only custom dimensions are varying from your lower versions to your latest version. So here represents year represents your total number of years of the application, like 2014, 15, or something like that. Period represents your January to February, which fiscal year that you are maintaining, like calendar year or fiscal year. Based on that, your period dimension will be created, your quarter 1 and quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. And view dimension is nothing but the way of mode that you are seeing, whether quarter to date or year to date or periodic data, that which mode that you are representing the data, that view dimension will be represented. Accounts, this is the most important one. Account dimension will be represents your total chart of accounts in terms of hierarchical structure that you are being maintained in your HFM application, in terms of financial statements, profit and loss account, balance sheet, and cash flow statement. And entity dimension is nothing but your total chart of your cost centers or departments that you need to maintain your consolidation structure. What is the reporting consolidation structure that you need to maintain your entity dimension, that you need to say in your entity dimension. Scenario is nothing but your set of data. What type of data that you are running consolidations and generating the report, whether it is actual data, budget data, or forecast data. Which data that you are maintaining in your HFM applications to run the consolidations and generating the reports. View them. Again, view. I said here. Okay. Value dimension. Value dimension is nothing but your total values and currencies. So you may have different currencies. All currencies that are maintaining in your value dimension. ICP dimension is a intercompany partner. So whatever the intercompany transactions that you may have in your organization that you need to maintain in your ICP dimension, and you create some transactions between your entity to ICP, and you run the consolidation. When you run the consolidation, the ICP values will be getting eliminated at the time of consolidation. And most important one, custom dimensions. These custom dimensions are associated with your account dimension. Because of these, whenever you are saying any account dimension, that should be combination of account dimension. So account dimension, the custom dimensions are being used to analyze the account data. Say for example, if you have the sales account, it's a simply sales amount, but I would like to see this data in terms of customer level or product level or segment level that you want to see. You need to analyze the data by using the custom dimensions. Like in custom 1 dimensions, I can create all customers, and in custom 2 dimensions, I can create all products, and in custom 3, I can create all segments. So that I can load the data, sales, customer 1, product 1, and segment 1. Likewise, I can load the data, and I can have a chance to analyze the data by customer level, by product level, or by segment level. So account dimension is always associated with your custom dimensions level, custom dimensions to say and to analyze the data in detailed way. These are the dimensions that we have in HFM applications. So total structural changes or total activities that we are going to be maintained in your HFM applications by using these 12 dimensions. This is nothing but we can call them as metadata. Okay. Once your metadata is the main point in your application in SBS or planning in HFM, whatever the applications, irrespective of applications, the metadata is the main concept of the applications. Once your metadata is ready and once you loaded this metadata into HFM application, then only you can start the data loading for your application. Okay, this is about your total dimensions information, how it is going to be used. And now I am coming to the point of how you are going to maintain your structures in your metadata. Say for example, in account dimension, you should maintain all structures in the relationship of parent-child relationship, so that the values will be rolled up into your parent level. Say for example here, sales and sales intercompany. So these two values will go into total revenue. But here we need to maintain some account type, revenue account type or expense account type, that we can discuss later. And here in entity dimension we have a geographical structure. Under that you have United States, under that California, Connecticut. Like this, we need to maintain the structure. In quarter 1, January, February, March. So these 3 members data will be rolled up into quarter. These 2 data will be rolled up into here itself. These 3 data will be rolled up into United States. It's not for single, it's for across the members. You need to think about it. Because of whenever you are saying any point of intersection, the roll up intersections also we need to remember. See here dimensional data how it is going to be rolled up. 700 and 200 because of the account type is revenue and account type is revenue. So the data will be rolled up into 900 and total cost, the account type that I can give it as expense. So the data will be deducted from your total revenue. Total cost will be your gross margin 500. So how the values will be getting calculated or rolled up into parent level based on your account type that you have provided for the account dimension attributes. Attributes are nothing but the behavior of the members that we can say. It's simply properties of the account dimension numbers. So those properties that we need to define while defining your metadata. Metadata is nothing but your total 12 dimensions members information. So while you are defining your 12 dimensions or account dimension information, you need to define your properties of the respective member so that it will be behave the member based on properties that you have defined. So here you can see the data with the intersection of all these 12 dimensions intersection. Then only you can represent one data value over there. This one we can see right now. So here we can see the architecture of the applications. Here as usual we have the 3-tier architecture: client tier, web tier, and middle tier and data tier. So client tier is nothing but where developer and end user can work on that. It's a Windows in desktop client and web client and Smart View. Smart View is nothing but you are adding to Excel, Microsoft Excel. So you can work with Microsoft Excel also. You can submit the data and retrieve the data. Everything you can do by using the submit the data and retrieve the data. Okay. So here it's a big client and desktop client. The desktop client and web client. Web client where we can use the web client to access the data and everything. That's it. And application. Here it's the application server. It's a IIS application server and web servers. Both will be implemented in middle layer. This is nothing but middle tier level. So here itself we are using IIS Integrated Information Services. It's working as a web server and report server also we will be maintaining here itself. And WebLogic is now in latest version in 11.123. WebLogic is the application server and Oracle HTTP server is the web server for the latest version. In old versions we have the Tomcat, Apache or the application server, and IIS is the web server. Okay, and at last the data, see the transactions that users can do, developer can do from here, and it will be calculated at application server level and the data will be stored into respective databases. This is nothing but database. Here 11.113 it supports to store the data SQL server, DB2 and your Oracle schemas. But in latest version 11.123 as I read it supports to Teradata also. Okay. Any questions on this?
No.
Okay. So now I am moving to financial consolidation. Here the data how it is moving. In local itself it's a local level, means it's cost center level, everything that you need to move into regional level and then move into center level. As I explained here in structure in global and next level UK, and you may have some regionals and some local entities are also there. So you need to load the data at local level. That local level data will be rolled up into regional level. That regional level data rolled up into global level.
Global level.
Yeah, that the structure is need to be maintained in this hierarchy structure, so that you can load the data at local and it is rolled up into regional level and it is rolled up into central level. So the process, how you are going to maintain everything in HF application. Once your metadata is ready and you have loaded that metadata into your HF application, thereafter what you need to do is you have to load data respective into HF application. Thereafter you may require some calculation, gross profit ratio, net profit ratio, or any other adjustments or any other calculations that would require we can do in HF application. And adjust data. Adjust data is that thing, but whenever you are restating your financial statements, like once you loaded the data, it may need some adjustments. So by debiting and crediting the values of the respective accounts, you can increase the values or decreasing the values. So for that, we need to adjust data by using the journals concept in HF application. Once this activity is completed, you need to translate the data and consolidate the data. Once your data been consolidated, translated, and adjusted, everything has been done, then you may have some reviewers to organize the data, what I can say, to monitor the data or to review the data. So we can have different reviewers, and we can by using the reviewers we can review the data of profit and loss account, balance sheet, and cash flow, whatever the accounts that we require. Once the data has been reviewed by the reviewers or business users or business analysts, everything is okay, everything is fine and approved, then only we can log the data and publish the data. So once you log the data, no other user can change the data in the applications before going to provide the reports to the public. These reports are nothing but your financial reports, profit and loss account, balance sheet, and cash flow statements, which we need to provide internally or externally, internal stakeholders or external public shareholders also as well. This is the process that we need to maintain in financial management to do the activities in HFM. These are the monthly maintenance. This is once you build your application, the month-end support team has to perform all these activities to complete until to run the reports. Okay.
Okay.
Any questions so far?
No.
Can I close right now?
No?
Yeah, I mean, any questions that you have?
No. No.
Okay, fine. Can I stop right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Varun, do you have any questions?
No, Srinivas.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, hello.